Hi everyone, just wanted to go live and see if there's any questions out there, see if I can answer any of your questions on DV 2020, 2021 or 2022. Happy Father's Day for everyone. I've already had a nice family breakfast and we've got various things planned for later on, so I'm having a great day. Anyway, let's see if there's any questions. I'm not expecting to have to talk about anything in particular. I just wanted to cover anything that people had questions about. So Saeed, you're the first in, so good morning to you. Good morning to you all. How has my week been, says Krishna? My week's been awesome. I've got my first work-related trip coming up in a couple of weeks' time. When I say my first work-related trip, the first for a long time because of the COVID pandemic. So I'm actually able to travel down to Los Angeles in a couple of weeks' time. So I'll be doing that in Manhattan Beach. So if anyone's in Manhattan Beach, maybe I can say hi. So let's just ask the question: any public charge for DV lottery winners? Yes, there is. There is a public charge aspect to all of immigration. Every immigrant needs to satisfy the consular officer that they will not become a public charge. This has got confused because Trump tried to introduce a couple of other procedures. He tried to introduce a requirement for producing health insurance prior to the interview and completing a form DS5540. And both the insurance and the 5540, they're both blocked. Neither one of those things are in place and won't be coming back. But there is still a need to provide evidence to the CO and reassure the CO that you won't become a public charge. One of the ways you can do that is by showing your own savings. You can also show an I-134, which is a form that a sponsor in America fills out. The sponsor needs to be a US resident taxpayer, so a green card holder or a citizen, basically. And they take financial responsibility for you. So you still need to do those things. I've written, there's an article, if you go to my FAQ on my blog, you'll find yourself getting a good description of what you need to do for that, okay? All right, let's just answer a couple more questions. Resending the documents that you sent in April in DV 2021. I don't think there's any harm in resending documents. I don't think it causes any harm. I think you should be looking at the documents you sent and figuring out whether you sent the correct documents. Just endlessly sending documents, without checking what documents you sent or asking KCC if they're satisfied seems kind of pointless to me. But at the end of the day, in DV 2021, there are 2 months left of scheduling. Okay, there's the interviews for July are all arranged. The next interviews that we'll see being arranged are August, and then we'll have September. That's going to be the final interviews, unless the lawsuits achieve some sort of extension of, some sort of preservation of visas. So at this point, do whatever you think is going to help your case. If you want to send documents, that's your call. If you don't want to send documents again, don't send them again. It's your call. I think it would be wrong of me to tell you categorically, do this and you'll succeed, because there is no right answer at the moment. If KCC were behaving correctly, I would be able to tell you accurately what to do. But because they're not behaving correctly, you have to make your own mind up based on what you think is going to work best for you. Hi, Rob. Thank you for that. Happy Father's Day to you and your family as well. For DV 2020, my mum. So DV 2020 is waiting for Judge Mehta in the Gomez case, and he will decide, what will happen in that case, right? We have no deadline as to when Judge Mehta needs to make a decision. He can make a decision as early or as late as he wants. That's his call entirely. I did see someone on Twitter saying that it was unfair that Judge Mehta is already scheduling hearings in the Good Luck case, and that, you know, it seemed to be that someone was saying DV 2020 needs to be done first. You know, that's a pretty silly attitude, frankly. DV 2021 has a small limited time left, in which time to actually get some processing. DV 2021 should be the priority right now over DV 2020, because for DV 2020, I know everybody's pissed off with waiting. I know nobody wants to wait any further. But whether you're issued a visa in today, or in a month's time, or in 3 months' time, or in a year's time, makes no difference from the point of view of getting that visa. Whereas for DV 2021, there is an actual deadline in place, and you should be well aware of that. And just like we moved heaven and earth to get DV 2020 through in September, to the exclusion of DV 2021 work, then you now in DV 2020 need to sit down and be patient and give DV 2021 selectees the best chance possible. So please, people, stop complaining that Judge Mehta is focusing on DV 2021. That's the right thing for him to do. Okay, so I hope people understand that. If you don't understand that after I just clearly explained it, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say to you. Victor, any prognosis for Go plaintiffs? You're asking what will be the outcome. I don't know what the outcome will be. I think it's a good thing that Go and Good Luck, etc., are happening, because those cases tend to push some activity in for the named selectees, named plaintiffs anyway. But I don't know what the final outcome will be in terms of whether they'll preserve visas or anything else like that. The final outcome for a lot of people is not the main point of the Go case or the Good Luck case. It's about getting a visa issued early. But certainly in the Good Luck case, it should be very clear to anybody, unless you've got no brain at all, that there are too many people with 11,600 named plaintiffs. There are too many of those people to be processed in the last 2 months of the year, and so clearly we'll need a preservation of orders in order to help all of those people. So it'll be more important to see that. For the Go case, it's possible that the Go selectees could be all processed before the end of the year, if they were given some sort of priority. So we'll have to see how that plays out. For DV 2021, can I shed some light? Basically, the problems we've got are this. The KCC stopped working on documents for a long period of time. And the only documents that they processed, with some exceptions for some high case numbers that we've seen, and I've explained before, they tended to focus their time and their efforts on lower case numbers. So the only cases that are being scheduled right now are from the lower case number ranges. And but there are not, the system is not at full capacity for DV lottery cases. There is a preference, a priority being given to other types of cases, some other immigrant cases, family-based cases, reunification of family. Preference is being given to those cases way and above DV lottery. So in most embassies, we're not seeing anything like the number of interviews that should be happening, actually being scheduled right now. So you've got a few problems. Number one, your documents may be processed because you were from a high case number. Even if you sent those documents, let's say in August or September or November or whatever of last year, even if you sent it back then, if you had a high case number, they probably haven't processed your documents. Number two, even if you have had your documents processed, you're not guaranteed an interview because there's not enough capacity at the embassies. And number three, whatever capacity is left is going to be angled towards the Go and Good Luck cases. They'll be given priority. So that's some light. I don't know it's what you want to hear, but that's the reality of what's happening. King of the North, Saidi. Good morning to you, Martin. DV2021 11K still not scheduled. Got an email that it's ready for scheduling. Yeah, so this is a fairly typical thing, Sammy. You are ready for scheduling. Maybe you'll be scheduled, maybe you won't. It's dependent on whether your embassy is actually working or not, at what capacity they're working, how many cases that KCC and the embassy decide can be scheduled at your embassy, and how many cases there are. It's very difficult for me to predict any of that, on a case-by-case basis. There's no new update on the Go litigation. Some of the lawyers, well, Curtis Morrison in particular, likes to post everything about his litigation on his Twitter feed. And frankly, it's not that interesting. Most of the things that happen in the lawsuit are normally behind the scenes, not because there's any secrecy, it's just that it's not important. It's not something to get worked up about. A lot of the time it's just part of the process. It's no big thing. So Curtis Morrison has got everyone worked up every time he posts some minor trivial thing. Everybody, freaks out saying, what does that mean? What does that mean? And the answer is, it means nothing. It's just part of the process, right? So there's no real update. Now, the Cook team, on the other hand, don't post everything on Twitter, but they do keep their plaintiffs informed where things are important enough to do so. So, there's no particular new update, and you shouldn't be looking for, updates every 5 seconds on that. Luca, yeah, Manhattan Beach is cool. It's I'm there for business, unfortunately, so it won't be all fun and games. I was planning, actually, I'm going to fly down there one day and I'll fly back the next night. But when I mentioned I was going to my wife, I mentioned I was going to Manhattan Beach. She said, "Okay, we'll drive down there. We'll all go down there," and we were going to load up and drive. But it's a short 2-day meeting. I'm just going to fly down and fly back. So, but it'll be fun to be out and about. Marlind, I got all my documents accepted and was waiting for an interview, but it stopped because of Corona. What will happen with me? DV2020. Marlind, in a normal year, your case would be done. It would be completely finished. You'd have no way of processing your case because the cases stop on September 30th. In this year, because you were not processed before, you're protected to some extent by a case called Gomez. Gomez against Trump, now Gomez against Biden. And there may be an order, a judge's order, that would help your case and other cases, but we don't know for sure how that's going to work out. So when I say we're still waiting for the Gomez case, that's what we're talking about. And Marlin, if you want any chance at all of getting your visa, you better start paying attention very closely, because if we do get an order for visas to be released, then things will move very fast. 9,000 visas have been preserved. They will go to people that are paying attention. If you're not paying attention, you can stand no chance of getting one of those visas. It's as simple as that. So you better start listening in and finding out, what's going on and keeping in touch with what's going on. Because as soon as it starts going, mark my words, that will go fast, right? Is it prudent to send you documents now? So your Africa 2022 case number 6K. Thanks for giving me all those pieces of information. I need to know the year, the region, and the number to give good answers, right? You can send your documents in. So the DS260 you've submitted already would normally be processed, and at some point when they've processed that document, they would then ask when they've processed the form, they would then ask for your documents. You can either wait for that process and see if it goes through normally, or you can proactively send your documents. There's no harm in doing that. There's no rule against doing that. You can send in documents. Some people have before, and that's worked out well for them. I would say, in general, it's better to, particularly if you've got a high case number, it would be better to wait for a little bit to see if you're asked to send in your documents, because when they ask to send in your documents, they're ready to receive them, and there's more chance that they won't lose the documents. Whereas if you send them in proactively, they may lose the documents, right? That's the risk. So, but if you're a low case number, you may decide to sort of push it. It did work out better for some people last year that submitted their DS260 very early and then managed to get their DS260 processed very quickly and get documents in very quickly. Some people like that with high case numbers are now sitting there with visas issued where they wouldn't have been if they hadn't have been so fast. So, you can decide what you want to do. Yeah, Liberia, only 11 cases scheduled for interview in July, and it's a shame, but that's the nature of the prioritization that is working against DV selectees. You won in 2018, got your green card. You returned to your home country with delivery without re-entry. Now your green card is expired. Can you apply for a new DV again this year? Chital, you're doing this all wrong. Firstly, your green card is not expired, right? The green cards are issued for 10 years. If you got it in 2018, it's not expired. You are still legally a lawful permanent resident, but what you can do without trying to necessarily enter the lottery again, which you can do that if you want, anyone can enter the lottery. But what you should do is apply for an SB1 returning resident visa at your local embassy, wherever you live now, and you can try and re-establish your residency. You have to show why you left the country. Perhaps you had some family issues that meant you needed to be at home. Maybe you're looking after an aged parent or something, and but it took you away from your longer term plan to live in America. That's how you would explain it to the embassy. And you may find that gets you an SB1 visa, which is a way to re-enter the USA and continue your lawful permanent resident status. Okay, try that. What about decision to disable DV lottery rumors? Yeah, I mean, people that talk about this are morons, frankly. Honestly, I don't understand what gets into people. They just pluck these silly ideas from the sky. You can't disable the DV lottery process. Somebody wrote, I think what you're referring to is, I saw on Twitter the other day, someone said, look, if they can't process everybody, then they should just turn it off for everybody. What a stupid attitude to take for a start. There are people that are getting visas, and that's going to change their lives. Why are we going to stop those people from being processed? Whoever we can get through in June, in July, in August, and September, we should get those through, right? And if you don't think that's right, then you're an idiot. Some is better than none. So no, we're not going to disable the DV lottery thing, even if that was technically possible, which it isn't. We're not going to disable it simply because it's not going well, right? Some is better than none. And turning it off, how does that help anybody? What an idiotic thing to presume. And I'm not saying it's you saying that, Abu Bakr. I'm not saying it's you that's saying it, Abu Bakr, but the people that are saying that, they obviously have no brain cells, because that's just stupid. Thank you, Daniel. That's nice of you to say Happy Father's Day. Thank you. During the DV2022 application, I misspelled the applicant first and last name. Can I make the correction on the DS260? Absolutely. In general, people need to know that you've given it your best shot to get the information right on the DV lottery entry, but you made some mistake. You made a mistake on the birth date. You missed out a name. You misspelled one of your names, something like that, something along those lines. As long as there's no concerns of fraud, that shouldn't cause you a problem. All you need to do is make sure that the DS260 has the accurate information on it. And while I'm on that subject, it doesn't matter if your education document has a slightly different version of the name or a different version of the birth date or anything else. Your birth date is established by your birth certificate. It should be confirmed in your passport. They're the two most important documents, your birth certificate and your passport. And that establishes your identity. Your education document is a separate document It may not have exactly the same information on your pass as what is on your passport or your birth certificate. That's okay. All right. So just make sure that the DS260 has the correct information. The Iron Throne. What do I know about? What do I think about Nicolette Glazer's regulatory challenge? I've said this before. I don't know of her strategy, her skills and ability. I have no idea. I have no way of assessing, whether she's actually got the right ideas or not. We'll have to wait and see. And that's the reason I haven't recommended that lawsuit, frankly. Jose Luis, you're so close. Waiting medical in a few days. Interview July 1st. I'm pleased to have helped you, Jose. I'm sure you're well prepared for the interview, which, as you know, is key to be well prepared. And if you're well prepared, frankly, the interviews are easy. So you'll shortly be able to move to America. So good luck to you. Okay. Oh, blast! The first part of this question, Robbie, has disappeared. I've got so many questions that I've been taking too long, and so I don't know what part 1 of 2 really is saying. But is Montreal Embassy not operating quarantine? Yeah, sorry, Robbie, I can't figure out what your question really is there. Post it again and try and keep it succinct. Right, let me just scan through a few other questions. What will happen to other lawsuit? Good luck if Judge Chen approves the class action in Jacob. There is an ability for people to opt out of a class certification. So if you're in Go or if you're in Good Luck and Judge Chen gave a class certification, he hasn't yet, but if he did, that protected you, you could either say, I want to be in that class and therefore protected by that class, or you could say, I want to opt out. And I'll leave it for the lawyers to talk about whether a mandamus case can continue whilst there's some protection by Judge Chen. But frankly, it's too early to assume that Judge Chen is going to be granting any sort of class certification or what that means, right? There are rumors, more rumors. Let's deal with some more rumors. There are rumors that DV2021 will be saved. Have you heard such news? I don't know how to answer that, Hosemi. We're working on trying to save DV2021, but it's very unlikely that everybody is going to be saved, as you're suggesting, simply because we're running out of time. So it needs a preservation order to preserve all the visas. Now that's going to be asked for in Good Luck. It's being asked for in Go. Judge Chen is working on that. Judge Mehta is looking at that. We're all, there's all those things going on. So I don't know what rumors are going on. There isn't some magic that's happening behind the scenes. That's nonsense. But, we have to wait and see how all the lawsuits go on. But if none of the lawsuits succeed, or if the lawsuits only have impact for named plaintiffs, then there is absolutely no doubt in my mind, and there shouldn't be in your mind, that this will be a very low issued year. 10,000 visas, 15,000 visas if there's some assistance from the lawsuits, something like that. It's not going to be many because there just isn't enough time. Okay, I was denied of a passport at the immigration of Sierra Leone, even with the country's birth certificate at the sign of simply because both my parents are foreigners. Chief Clerk and the Deputy Director told me the country's citizenship can be obtained by ancestors, not by birth. Okay. So you were born in Sierra Leone, but what they seem to be telling you, and I don't know if this is the case, but it wouldn't sound surprising, is that simply being born there doesn't mean that you are entitled to citizenship of Sierra Leone. Okay. You may be entitled to citizenship of one of your parents, right? But you should still be able to get a birth certificate, whether you're a citizen or not. You should be able to get a birth certificate that recorded your birth in Sierra Leone, right? Because a birth certificate doesn't grant citizenship. They're two different things, and so they should be able to give you a document that says, "Here's your birth certificate," and another government will give you citizenship by, because of your parentage. So that's what you have to look into. That's what you need to look into. But I presume you're not already a DV winner, because you would have needed your passport to have entered. So, not quite sure what the rest of your question is. Aisha, my husband is an alien in the US. What, from Mars? Or no, I understand what you mean. I won the green card lottery in DV 2022. He has a house that could be our host, or I must look for another host for me and the kids. I believe we're capable of taking care of ourselves. Okay, your husband lives in the US. Why wouldn't you live with him? Why would? Don't you like your husband? Are you divorcing? I don't really understand what you're saying here, but it would be normal that you would live with your husband, right, in the US. And if he has a house, then he can host you there. I don't really understand your question here. I don't really understand your problem. I don't understand why you're talking about, hosting yourself somewhere else. But make your question more clear. Rich won the DV 2022 with AF38K, came back from the US on a J1 visa, 2-year home requirement, which ends in June 2022. I think we've answered this question for you before, Rich. Should I submit DS260 now or wait till June? I believe when I answered this question before, I told you to wait and delay submission of the DS260 so that your interview would be after June. So that's what I would do. It's up to you how you want to play it. And I see, you're asking again. I'm not quite sure you need to ask again, but there you go. You're 16. Can I apply for DVDs 2023? It's just DV. DVDs are movies and things. Can someone help me? You don't need any help. You just need to follow the instructions. So it's a simple form with about 14 questions. If you can't handle that form by yourself, then frankly, you're not eligible through education to be able to participate in the lottery. You should be able to do this yourself. You don't need any help. It's a simple process. You can go through it. It will open in October. Okay, but don't ask for help on something that, if you can't answer 14 very simple questions about you, your name, your address, where you were born, if you can't do that, then there's a problem. But I do have a video, lucky for you, that will help you, enter, but you can't enter until October. The one thing I would say is, for goodness sake, don't get someone else, don't pay someone to enter for you, don't pay an agent, just take the responsibility to enter for yourself. And you're only 16, so right now you couldn't be processed through as a winner, but that doesn't matter, because the entry you make in October, you won't know you're a winner until 2022, and you may not even process until 2023. You may not even enter the US until late in 2023 or something. So, it's a long time yet. Just relax and finish your education. Okay. Done your question, Rich. What do you think? DV, I don't know if it'll extend or not for DV 2021. We have to wait and see. So your EU 7000, this is for us. You've seen the instructions about submitting supporting documents. You're considering sending your documents. They're ready. What's the recommendation? Up to you. You can choose how you play it. Your case number is not going to be ready. It's not going to be current in October, and possibly not even November. It's a low case number, but it's not going to be ready immediately. So, you could just wait a few weeks. I would personally wait a few weeks, see if they process your DS260 and ask you for documents. That's what I would do. But if you want to go ahead and submit your documents, there's nothing wrong with that either. Ahmed, I'm in DV 2021 AF 23,000, going to France for short-term training, July 3 to 23rd. I feel no previous channel. Makes no difference to your chances. You're going to be fine. DV lottery cases right now have an exemption from the Schengen area restrictions. No problem. I keep getting this question. Who keeps talking about DV lottery being disabled? I don't know. And if you're going to say disabled, please explain what you mean. Vivek, if you have a high school diploma or 2 years work experience, you can apply. Oh, yeah, you're talking to the 16-year-old, right? A 16-year-old can enter anyway, right? There is no requirement to be able to enter. The requirement is when you sit through the interview. And since the interview isn't going to be for a long time from now, someone who's 16 years old should just enter, whether they meet the requirements or not, because they will probably meet the requirements by the time they actually process their case, right? Christy, does it matter if I resend the documents? I've already answered that. You can resend if you want. Elisa Patella, you're doing an awesome job. Thank you. Have you seen any AOS packages rejected where the applicant has not included the DV receipt? Not recently. No, not recently. But someone's mum on the forum, I hope you know what I'm talking about, would give you a better answer about that. I don't, for adjustment of status, it's very unique and particular. Adjustment of status only affects about 5% of DV lottery winners, and DV lottery is only 5% of total immigration, right? So we're talking about a very, very small section of people each year go through adjustment of status. And it's so niche and so specialized, I don't actively sort of watch or learn, about that process. Rich, again. Okay, your DV 2022 winner with an AF 13,000, is it a high case number? No. When can you expect an interview? I don't know. You have to wait and see. Is OC 1300 too high? No, it's not particularly too high, and we don't know where the numbers end, but I've seen cases in OC this year of 25XX. So I think, your case is probably not too high at all. Frank Darko, 2021 is also a priority. Let's also empathize with them. I know it's been half a DV 2020. That's the same thing I was saying earlier. Check Curtis Morrison on Twitter now about DV program disabled by highest level of Biden admin. Oh, okay. So it's Curtis using. So he may be talking about disabled in a de facto way, but not in any legitimate legal way, etc. Curtis likes to make arguments, frankly, sometimes pointlessly. But what he's saying, I very much doubt he is legitimately saying that the DV lottery has been disabled, because that would be a daft thing to say. Frankly, it's not true. Now, you can try and argue that they've compromised the DV lottery or that they've hurt the DV lottery through their actions, etc. But that's not the same as being disabled in terms of, turned off or anything like that, right? So I just wish people, including lawyers, would choose their words more carefully. My promo official, I'm 2022, 53,000. Any speculations? No, none at all. No speculations about the month of interview. But it's probably a year away from now, right? It's certainly not going to be this year. So, you have to just be patient and wait and see what happens. MK Songs, hi again. The decision to disable the DV lottery program has been made by someone at the highest level of the Biden administration. Is it true? Just saw it on Twitter. No, it's not true. It's not true. Did he really say that? Oh, for goodness sake. What a silly thing to say. So it wouldn't be true. No, I'm just checking for that now. It wouldn't be true to say in any respect, right? Oh my God, he really did say that. So this is from Curtis Morrison 37 minutes ago. The decision to disable DV lottery program was made by someone at the highest level of the Biden administration. If you have inside information as to who is the xenophonic bigot who made that decision, meet me on Telegram for an encrypted chat. Let's expose this bastard. It's nonsense. There's just Curtis having, he hasn't had his coffee this morning or something. I don't know. he's saying that there is a decision that has been made by someone at the highest level of the Biden administration. I want to fight for DV lottery as hard as Curtis Morrison has. Curtis Morrison has only been involved in the DV lottery for the last year, right? And he's done a great job, and he cares about it, and he's working very hard. Fine. So I don't want to slow him down or denigrate his efforts in any way. But this is just nonsense. There was no decision made, in all likelihood. He has got no proof of a decision being made. And so when he says things in front of you, and you all think that the DV lottery has been disabled, it's just nonsense. The whole thing's nonsense. There's no proof of any of that, right? So there is no statement from the government saying that the DV lottery program is disabled. Now, Curtis probably has some perspective that all of this prioritization, the lack of effort and everything else has effectively disabled it. But that's not based on a decision to disable the DV lottery program. That's hard to prove because a decision wouldn't have been taken, and hard to prove, which is why he's asking for, if you know of the xenophobic bigot who made that decision, blah, blah, blah. What decision? There's no decision. Right now, nobody is more frustrated about the slowdown than me. I promise you. I've been doing DV lottery since 2013. I've been helping people since 2013. So please don't question my standing up for the DV lottery thing. But just making up nonsense doesn't help. Referring to rules being broken that were never rules in the place doesn't help. Which is why I pick on Curtis sometimes and say, let's be careful with our words. Referring to 11 people standing in front of the Liberian embassy with a sign that says "Dear US Embassy," and referring to them and likening them to Benghazi attackers, when you clearly don't understand what the hell happened in Benghazi, for example, doesn't help anybody, and frankly is disgraceful behavior. We shouldn't be telling people not to stand up for their rights, and not to peacefully protest. So these things that he says, I don't know why, like I say, go and have a cup of coffee, Curtis, and take that nonsense down. Unless you've got absolute proof that there is a decision, even if you don't know the person who made the decision, show me the proof of the decision. There isn't any. So, I don't know. Oh, Sweshi, give me some good news. Obama land. Glad to see you this time. It's about 9:45 p.m., 9:49 p.m. in Kenya. You're listening. You should be in bed, Sweshi. What's the requirement for the 2023 lottery? To enter it is the main requirement, but I do have a video that explains the other requirements. Education of a certain level, equivalent with an 18-year-old US kid, or work experience. It's very simple requirements. I've got a video. You can look it up. Oh. Curtis, get my blood pressure up. Right. Hello, sir. Will the new passport affect the chance of getting a visa since the old one expired? That's no problem. So process your passport now. If you have it in time for your interview, if you can get an interview, you just present that new passport and keep a record of the old passport, right? Photocopies. If you can't keep the physical copy of the passport because you have to hand it in or something, keep a photocopy of it, a very clear photocopy of the biometric page of the passport. Right. Okay, let me just go through here. Oh dear, is that real, Brit? It was a person who can cancel the DV lottery. No. I didn't even know about that. It was posted, according to Twitter, about 40 minutes ago. So I didn't even know about that when I jumped on this live. But no wonder you're all asking questions about that. Why would he wind you up? Why would he wind you up? Unbelievable. Okay. Your case is 2022. The embassy in Iraq, where I've applied from, has been closed for about a year so far. Yeah, nearer the time. So, Dr. Mohammed, nearer the time, based on your case number, you're probably going to have to figure out what, where you're going to need to process. KCC are obviously aware of embassy closures, And if we return to a more normal state where embassies are accepting cases from other countries and they're not so concerned about COVID restrictions, then you'll have a chance to process. Right now, today, someone going through that process today would have a problem because many of the embassies are not agreeing to take people from outside of their country. Chase Stream, same old song and dance. Until the embassy isn't serious, it's not happening in normal time. Good luck, Byron. Brings positive decisions. Yep. Love. Are you a lawyer? No, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just little old me. And some people would say, myself included, that I know more about the DV lottery process than most lawyers. So that's why I comment on it. Top Keck, DV2021 winner here, 76k. DV2021A, you say A, it could be A, it must be AF. KCC opened my DS260 without me asking for it a month ago, and I've sent it back again. I don't know if that would play a role in. Okay, your DS260 would not have been reopened by KCC just for fun. They can look at the DS260. They don't have to unlock it. The only reason they unlock it is when someone, you or an agent for you, unlocks it. So did someone else unlock it, or did you not submit it correctly in the first place? One of those two things. One of the two things I just said is the reality. It's not because KCC just opened it. Mo, hello, sir. I wasn't have passport when I registered the DV lottery. There is a difference between the birthday that I registered and the birthday in your passport right now. Okay, so you've dug a great big hole for yourself. Firstly, were you entitled to not use a passport when you entered the lottery? Probably not, and that could get you a disqualification. And I've produced a video which I posted a few days ago to talk about what might happen because of you not using the passport when you entered. But you've added on top of that and you've got some sort of birthday confusion. Now, with two simultaneous things going on, where you didn't have a passport and you screwed up your birthday, you have a higher risk of disqualification because the CEO is just going to look at this and say, I don't know if I trust you, frankly. You can't seem to get your birth date right. You entered ignoring the instructions about passports. I'm just going to disqualify you, right? That could easily happen. That's how things happen. That's how cases go wrong, because they go wrong where having one little mistake here or even a couple of little mistakes, if there's no concerns about fraud, then that's fine. But where you're willfully disregarding instructions, where you can't seem to remember when you're born, that is the sort of thing that ends up in disqualification, denial at interview. Okay. Venezuela SA 300 range. Your interview will be in Colombia. I don't know whether you're DV2021 or DV2022. You have to be clear. So I can't tell you anything. As a DV winner, yes, you should prepare an affidavit of support if you can get one. That's an I-134. I saw another YouTuber the other day. He put great effort into making a complete fool of himself, saying that firstly, the I-134 is not used in consular cases because it starts with the letter I, therefore it's it's from USCIS. Well, that's utter bullshit for a start. Clearly, he doesn't understand how the process works. And the I-134 is used by DV lottery cases. But he also reasoned that public charge is somehow not important for DV lottery cases. Again, he clearly has no clue. That was another YouTuber that comments about DV lottery. He made a whole video about this. Just the whole thing was nonsense from beginning to end. So I don't know. Vivek, I asked to unlock my DS260 on May 28th. Should I send another unlock request May 28th? No, I would wait. 3 weeks is a long time to wait, yes, but they're probably fairly busy right now trying to do fairly unusual process for scheduling interviews for DV 2021. So just be a little bit more patient for another week or so and see if it comes through. EU 21,000 is at a high number for DV 2022. It's probably not a high number, it's sort of high middle range, probably, but we don't know the final numbers. We don't know what the highest numbers for EU are, or any of the cases. We don't know how many selectees, so it's too early to say with precision whether it's high or not, but it doesn't sound particularly high. Okay, what? Oh yeah. So, oh wow, it's later than I thought. Right, 2 more questions and I'm out of here because I'm going to go and watch a movie in a movie theater for the first time in a year and a half. Fantastic. Okay. Is it late to hand in your DS260 for a DV2022 winner? No, it's not too late. I mean, there are still people who are possibly still hanging on to their DS260 from DV2021. So no, it's certainly not too late for you. Let me just, I'm just looking for, for a good generic question here. Sorry, I'm scanning these questions. I'm just trying to look for a question that would help a number of people. Okay, this is it's not going to help everyone because not everyone's pregnant, but this is just something about cases. So your DV 2022, you've already completed your DS260, but your wife is 6 months pregnant. What should you do? Well, today is June, and you're not going to get an interview before you have a baby. So once you have a baby, you'll be able to add the baby to the case. As soon as you have the baby, obtain the birth certificate, get the passport for the baby, and you should be unlocking and adding your baby to the DS260 and creating a DS260 for the baby as soon as possible, after the birth of the baby. You can't do it before the baby's born, but you can do it immediately after the baby is born. Go ahead and go and have a look at my blog, BritSimonSays.com. Look at the FAQ FAQ, and you'll see a nice explanation of the timing and how you add a child to the case. Okay, guys, that's all I've got time for today. I appreciate you jumping on with me today and asking some questions. I'm sorry about this curveball that has been thrown out there by Curtis in the last hour. Please just ignore it. It's Curtis having a bad day, and there's no actual definitive proof of a decision being made. So he's referring to the general animus, I guess you would say, in the way that the government is handling those cases. Nothing more than that. He should know better than to stir everybody up for, without some proof of something. And I'm sorry he did that. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. Keep well. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you hate this video because I criticize Curtis, well, good luck to you. Have a good day. All right, bye-bye now.